But they're definitely good at wearing you down, especially if he's good at dodging. Like, if he just sits there and lets you beat his ass, you can kill them quickly, but most of them kite you and they'll run around and they'll dodge your attacks. So, it can be pretty annoying. So, maybe, Matthew mentioned this, or we already knew or something, but when you go to an area that's a lower level than you, I think it ranks you downwards to be a level appropriate, so you get the same amount of experience as you should. Like right now, I'm one of the first areas, and I'm technically level 6, but it has a little green number next to me that says 4. So I think it's ranked you down to be level appropriate, so everything's still challenging.
That makes sense, because I mean you'll see in our area level 2. It's really?
Yeah.
I didn't think you could get all the way here and be level 2.
Yeah, you can use the PvP Mists gate to get to other areas when you shouldn't be there already, I guess. But what's neat is it means that all the content in the game you could still do to get level ups. Which is pretty neat, because they said that the levels don't scale. I guess the levels take roughly the same amount once you hit 10, and then you can go anywhere to do them, so you don't have to be like, oh, I didn't do the Harpy area, so now I can never do the Harpy area because it won't give me experience. So that's kind of neat. You don't have to worry about that, I guess. I was wondering, because I started doing this low-level quest, and it was giving me exactly the same amount of experience. That really confused me. Then I looked at that number.
I have a question. Rifle is for single target and bow.
Yeah.
AoE.
I think so. You can look at the skills, but I don't think that's how it works. Because pistol is actually AoE for the engineer, and rifle is single target. But rifle is single target for warrior as well, and bow is AoE. So it might depend, but I think that's right. But yeah, it's you don't get ranked up to fight higher level enemies, but you will get ranked down so that you still get good experience off of it. You aren't wasting your time, so you can still see all the stuff. That's pretty cool.
So which 3 utilities do you use as a warrior? Throw bolus, Endure Pain?
I used to use Endure Pain, Throw Bolus, and Full Charge, but after seeing those other warriors using basically not all those skills, I kept Endure Pain because it's awesome, and you'd only use that because you want more damage, or you wouldn't use that only if you wanted a lot more damage. But I got rid of Full Charge because it has a 40-second cooldown, whereas Throw Bolus only has a 20. And instead I got to Victory, I think. It looks like a fist pumping in the air. It's like a big angry fist, and it gives you a buff for 30 seconds, something like that, or 25 seconds. It gives you might and ferocity and something else.
Is it called for Great Justice?
Yeah, that might be it. What does it do?
Gives you might and fury.
Yeah, for Great Justice, I use that.
See, it gives you a damage boost for 25 seconds, but the catch is the ability lasts. It has a cooldown of 25 seconds. So it basically means you permanently get this damage boost, because you're never actually going to not have it if you keep using it. And it's an AoE to everyone within 1200 meters. So you can run up to your team and give them a boost to all their damage, and give them a boost to their crit chance for 8 seconds, and then just keep using that. And you can also spec into it. Yeah, that's a shout. You can spec into it to make it heal people and make it last longer and other stuff. I don't know how good that is. But if you made it heal, and the heal didn't suck, that could be great. Because you could heal people, and you could give them the damage boost, and just keep using that and make yourself even tougher.
This one seems pretty good. I will avenge you, gain might, regeneration, and toughness.
That one's awesome.
And if you kill a foe, your allies will.
Yeah, I haven't tried that, but that seemed like that one could be really good in certain situations. Like in open world, in world versus world, people can't always down you because there's so much shit going on. So if you ran into a big group and rezzed a bunch of your buddies after killing somebody, that would be really significant. You could win a fight that way.
Is that passive?
You have to activate it, and then for 10 seconds, you have that buff where if you kill someone, you'll rally everyone, and then you get those other boosts for longer. But for Great Justice or whatever, that one seems like it's a pretty solid choice because it's always on and it affects allies. And then Endure Pain, in my opinion, is just so amazing that you should use it. But if you want to be full DPS and not use any defensive stuff, you could choose not to use it and then get something else. For the elite skill, I would use the Signet of Rage. I used to use the Banner because the Banner is really good, but Signet of Rage lasts 30 seconds when you cast on yourself, and that's just stupid. You can win. You fight an entire battle that way. So that's probably why people use it, because it makes you nasty.
And what happened with that one-handed sword guy is he would use for Great Justice, and he would turn on his Signet of Rage, and then he would hit one of you guys with a full adrenaline sword attack, and it would just beat the shit out of you. Because he's got these 2 damage increasing abilities and a crit chance increasing ability on himself. All that stacks up and it does a ton of damage. So, definitely for Great Justice, and I would say Endure Pain and Throw Bolus. Throw Bolus only has a 20-second cooldown and immobilizes people for 4 seconds. So,
Honestly,
that's really good.
with this setup, you really don't even need a second weapon. Because you have Throw Bolus, which is a ranged immobilize. You have Savage Leap, which is charge.
Yeah.
So you really shouldn't need a second weapon with Sword Warhorn.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the guy who used axes, he did fine, and all he used was 2 axes and then sword and shield, because axes also have some stuff that lets you get to people. And he would just basically do that. And then sometimes...
Oh, yeah, Sword Shield?
Yeah, he had sword shield in his offhand, and then he used 2 hand axes in his main hand.
Honestly,
And he would switch to the shield. Like sometimes if somebody's kiting him for a long time, he'd switch to his shield and start blocking while he chased them down. And then when he got there, he could stun them and start cutting them up with his sword. Because the sword has pretty good attacks and good gap closers. So you could just use the shield as like the equivalent of a ranged weapon. Though if you're in World vs. World, I would definitely use a ranged weapon, because otherwise dicks sit up on walls and you can't do anything. So it's worth it to be able to shoot back at the guys up on the walls.
Use the ranged weapon until you
Until the door
generate
down.
full adrenaline, then you switch to your hammer and you rotate your ability to use
Well,
It's so much
Whatever. So the guy, what's his main?
yeah, he used 2. He would kill people most of the time with 2 one-handed axes. He did very well. He'd put on those damage boosts and he'd start spinning with, I think it's the 5 ability for dual axes, and that actually does a ton of damage, and you can move while you do it, so people can't get away. It's like the twin, it's like my 100 swipes or whatever with my greatsword, but you can chase people and it's an AoE. So he would, he'd start using that, and it would do like 800 damage a second for a long time to everyone in a radius, and it gives you a bunch of adrenaline too.
Yeah, I think if you throw Bolus, they're immobilized. Then you throw Axe at them, which cripples them, and you just
Yeah.
start spinning on them.
If you just threw your axe into them, that alone, they would not be able to get away from your axe, and then you can start spinning on them. He seemed to use that for single target, because it just did so much. So,
But you use shield stance while moving.
you can use block ability while moving, whatever it is, with the shield.
It's called shield stance blocking.
Okay, yeah, he would use that to run away from people so that his heal would come back. He'd be running from someone with shield stance up, and then he'd like hide around a corner. When they came around, he'd stun them and use his adrenaline ability and kill them. Stuff like that. He has pretty good fights, actually.
Do you know what heal